All right. Hello, everybody. Woohoo! Jon Reep here. You are watching another live episode of the Heffron and Reep Show, baby. I'm Jon Reep. In a little bit, John Heffron's going to join us, but let's do some housekeeping real quick. We're live, and I see your comments right now. Hello, Jason. Hello, Shane and Ryan and Michael and Charlie and Chase. Good to have you. Leave comments. We're going to try and get to them in the second half of the show. First half, it's just going to be me and John Heffron catching up, talking. We have a special guest, a guy by the name of Jeremy London is going to zoom in for the show. We're going to talk about that. Let me give you some tour dates. Well, today's Monday, April the 18th, and we're live. And what is Heffron and Reep? Some of you, maybe for the first time you're watching, maybe you just signed up on my page. You're like, what the heck is this? This is the Heffron and Reep Show. Two winners of Last Comic Standing, two journeymen of the road, some road dogs and lovers of the 1980s, baby. We're going to talk about all that good stuff. No politics, no pandemics, no Putins. Just good times. But let me let you know where I'm going to be this weekend. I wonder if anybody in here knows anything about Tulsa, Oklahoma, because I am headed there this weekend. I'll be there this Friday and Saturday night, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday at the Tulsa Comedy Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have not been there in a long time, so I need y'all to come out. After that, next weekend, I'll be at the Funny Bone in Syracuse, New York. Come see me there, April 29 and 30. Then after that, Perrysburg, Ohio, Funny Bone. All my tour dates can be found at heffronandreep.com. Click on tour dates. Do you know what I'm saying? Good deal. Thanks for joining us. Let's bring in my buddy, huh? I don't do this show by myself. I do it with my good friend, very funny, very popular, very handsome, very skilled. He's got a sharp brain. I like his thoughts. I like the way his head works. I'm talking about John Heffron, everybody. There
Jon
he is.
Reep.
How are you doing, buddy?
Good. You know, I always get my pre-show sweat, as you can see, because my internet always works when we talk before the show goes on. And the second the show starts, it starts crapping out. So,
anyway.
Anyway.
I can't tell that you're sweating. You look good. I love that we both are rocking our states. Like you got the Detroit hat, I got the North Carolina hat. I like your background. I like your locker.
I'm repping the Heffron and Reep 5K, which is available on our website.
Oh, yeah. You can get this hoodie at heffronandreep.com. Click on store. And we got T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, tumblers, glasses, you name it.
We got a lot.
Get something and help us out. Or go to heffronandreep.com, click on support, and be a supporter. Throw some money in the tip jar. It's our Patreon page. You can put as much in there as you want or as little. We'll take $1. We'll take $100. Whatever you got. heffronandreep.com, Patreon. John Heffron, how was your weekend? How was your Easter?
Good. I feel like we should take a big breath because looking at the show notes right here, dude, we're going to cover a lot. It's going to be good. I feel we've done a lot of shows with each other, and I forgot this. I found an old logo of us from our very first podcast that we ever did. But so I feel like this one today is going to be one of our better ones.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
you found an old logo?
I found a last podcasting logo.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not gonna look for it now, but because I just had it. But yeah, dude, it's a good one. So we have a lot to talk about. We have my buddy Jeremy London, who's gonna be on, who's an actor who's been on Seventh Heaven, Party of Five, Chasing Joy. He's done a lot of stuff. I have an interesting way of how I met him. I was at a comedy club, and there were some hecklers, and he stood up in the crowd and did one of these, like, where you put your hands up, like, why are you talking?
Right.
And it was right when COVID was happening, and we canceled the very next show, and I flew home because I was afraid of the COVID.
Where was this?
Alabama.
Birmingham?
I forgot the name of the club, but I was there, and the second I got home before COVID got me, I went and cashed the check just to make sure. So he's going to be on a little bit later. We have dates to plug. I'm actually going for the next 6 weeks. I'm somewhere every weekend. Just go to heffronandreep.com for my dates. I'm not going to go through them, but Columbus, Phoenix, Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids, Traverse City. It's a whole thing, but just go to heffronandreep.com and love it if I actually got butts in the seats. Because that's a thing. Also, take a breath, John. So, John, I got a message on my Facebook page. This dad, and of course, I didn't write his name down. Anyway, this guy asked if me and you would do a cameo for his son. His son is a huge listener and watches the podcast. But here's the problem with the son. Here's the problem with Pax. Here's the problem with this young gentleman. It's not even really a problem. He's only 10. So that's why he's 10. That's why he can't ever come and see us at shows. He's got to wait 8 years.
Right.
And by that point, we're going to be men of almost our 60s. And he's going to be 18. And we're going to be like Puff the Magic Dragon, where Pax is into us now, but he's going to outgrow us.
Right. What do we do? I mean, I like his name is Pax.
Yes, from Wyoming.
Pax.
He's 10. Dude.
Pax.
Pax is not doing this anymore, dude. He's not doing full hand DDP. I'm this many years old.
Can you hear me, John? I feel like my microphone went out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he spells his name Pax or Packs?
I wrote here. Here's my notes. Do you see that?
Yeah. Well, you put an X over something. You almost put a CK and you made an X over the attempted C.
But I don't know. I would like to see his handwriting because this is of a grown guy with a college degree. This is how I write.
Wow.
So one, happy birthday, Pax.
Happy birthday, Pax.
What advice would you give a 10-year-old?
Pax is in Wyoming. He's 10 years old.
Yeah.
What advice would I give Pax? Well, Pax, here's something you might not be thinking about. But
let's go to the comments too. By the way, if you have any advice for Pax, just slam up the comments real quick, and I'll read them as John's giving his.
Okay, Pax. I know it's gonna sound very girly for me to say this.
Careful with the gender stuff. He's
okay,
learning differently than we learned. Careful.
What should I have
Nothing's
said?
Girly. Nothing's girly.
No, something something sissy? Can I say sissy?
No, Pa. No. We just got canceled. You can't say that word. Now we're great. There goes my career. There goes yours.
What about wussy? Wussy. W.
Nope. Nothing with E. C.
Wimpy. Feminine? No, can't say feminine.
Let's go to the comments.
Something.
We're gonna reset that.
Here, let me just tell them what I have in mind. Keep a diary. Keep a journal. Once a week, make yourself write something down on one piece of paper, and you will thank me when you are 18, 19, 20. It's amazing. I went home. I found my old journal, and I love reading it. It's amazing. Write anything you want, and also stretch, drink water, brush your teeth. And all those things. Yeah,
Pax. So, okay. I'm going to go to comments in a sec, but I'm going to go with what Mr. Reep, as you probably refer to him, because you're 10. So, I was told to brush my teeth my entire life. That's right. You hear that from the parents. And look, we all know, Pax, we know parents have never been your age. We get it, right? They like to tell you what to do, but you know, your parents have never been 10. So I get that you and me only know. I was told to brush my teeth. Pax. So one day I was in my 40s. I know it's a long way away. That's like these many Pax. I was eating Milk Duds at a movie theater in Columbus, Ohio, which I'm at this weekend at the Funny Bone. And I ate Milk Duds and I heard a crunch and I spit out the milk duds, and I saw my tooth.
Oh, wow.
I saw my tooth in the milk duds packs. So my first thought was my dad was right. If I keep eating candy, my teeth are going to fall out of my face. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I know you don't think your parents have ever been your age, and I get it. They're you're living differently than them. But every once in a while, they say something because they know. And my dad told me my teeth would fall out of my face, and it did, Pax. So there you go.
That's great advice, John. What do you feel about flossing?
I think flossing is very important. And then also, if I could go back, okay, John, let me ask you this. If you went back to your 20, what advice do you wish you got in your 20s?
In my 20s?
Yeah. If you could go back and talk to you, if there's an app, that you can go back and your 50-year-old Reep could go talk to your 20s, just about your not about relationships or just about health. Let's just stick with health. Like, what would be a thing? We'll keep it very personal.
Just keep an eyeball out on the alcohol intake. Just be careful. It's a slippery slope, and that's it's really all you need. Thing crazier than alcohol, maybe a little marijuana, nothing crazy.
He's 10,
but that's where you stay. Now, you said me at 20.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Did you not just say if I'm talking to me?
I did. I did. I apologize.
Are we still talking to Pax? I would never say weed if I was talking to Pax.
No, we're talking to you. So yeah, that's you.
And then save money, and seriously save money. Like, don't say I'm going to start a savings account, then have it, and then splurge because you want to go on spring break. Seriously save money that you're never going to touch till you're 50.
Yeah, because if you, I believe at 18, I just read somewhere, if you're like 18 and you put $200 or $300 a month away up until you're 25, by the time you're 60 something, you have millions of dollars.
I remember someone laying it out for me like that when I was a kid.
And you don't ever, because already it's too much math. They're like, you lost me at 16, 18. And then when I'm 20, so now at 52, I have nothing saved. I have to find, how does it work? I have to find an 18-year-old and give them $300 a month for the next 10 years. Is that how that works? I don't
think so.
I think I'm wrong on that.
I want to read one of the comments. Chase Waters said, invest in Bitcoin. Not a bad idea, a little bit. He also said wear deodorant, and I don't necessarily agree with deodorant unless you actually smell bad. Antiperspirant, if you sweat a lot, maybe. I don't wear deodorant. I don't wear antiperspirant, and I don't stink. No one's ever said anything bad about my sweating or my odor. So,
what I would do is I would take paper towels from before I went on stage, and I'd stick them underneath my armpits, almost like tampons, and kind of here's this randomness, dude. So Pax, we're still talking about you. It's your birthday. You're 10. It's exciting. So, and be 10, dude. Be 10. Like, don't. You're already going, I can't wait till I'm 11, because being 11 is probably cool, man. If I was 12, just be 10, dude. You're only going to be 10 for a year. John, where's the thing? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what was going on when we were 10.
Oh yeah.
Okay. These are random. I know you're a little bit younger than me, but we're pretty close, right? So this.
I'm 50. You're probably 51.
Yeah. So when we were about Pax age, U.S. defeats Soviet Union in ice hockey with the labeled "Miracle on Ice." That happened when you were his age. Mount St. Helens erupted.
Wow, remember that? That was huge.
CNN cable news began. 3M begins selling of its largest product, Post-it notes. So do you realize, John, when we were 10, there were people our age going, no, you can just write it on a note and it sticks to the wall. Like, that was a conversation.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
Right? Yeah, I remember that came out, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to write notes all the time now." And people got
and then people were excited about the Post-it notes, and then John Lennon gets shot. So everyone's like, oh, have you seen John? And they wrote that on the post-it note. And then severe heat wave happened. There were 1,100 deaths in 20 states. That was, science. I believe that was a whatever. Yeah, crude oil fire destroys MGM Graham, and the killer clown John Wayne Gacy was sentenced life and murder. What else happened? Oh, okay. Here's the one. Rubik's Cube debuts.
The Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
I still have no idea how people solve them that quick when they're that messed up. I don't understand it. With the cubes all like jumbled up.
I watched.
I don't know how they do that.
It's 4 moves. Like I watched a YouTube video of it. You do something with the corners. It's like 5 or 6 moves. We should set that as a goal. Like, how would you feel? Probably one of my one of the things I'll feel like I'll always have a hole in my heart is I never became a black belt in anything, and I never finished a Rubik's Cube. So the black belt thing, I think it might be too old because I think I can get in my 70s. But I think me and you learning how to finish a Rubik's Cube is not. I mean, you're sitting in a hotel room every weekend, as am I. You're on a plane, so you can find the time if you put the Rubik's Cube on the top of your toilet, and you learn the code or you learn how to do it.
That's what it would have to be.
I think we just
learning the trick because you know how they say that you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah,
I wonder if I'm past the age of like I can't really learn a bunch of new crap anymore. Where it's am I an old dog now? I can't learn new tricks.
What if we somehow learn the code or the math of doing a Rubik's Cube, right? Or what is it? Not the theory.
Algorithm.
Yeah. And then what if we let our fans or people listen to podcasts bet on us?
Oh.
And we do it as a Facebook Live. And if it takes us 3 hours or 4 hours, we don't shut off the camera until it's done.
I'll have to bust it apart and put it back together.
I think we can learn.
Take the stickers off.
I've seen kids do it with their feet in under a minute.
I don't know how to do it.
If we're using our hands, we could do it in under an hour. Chase Waters already saying the money's on Reep.
Oh, I don't know about
Shane Flint said, "I'm not sure I got that kind of time."
Right. Yeah. Well, there's that. The black belt thing that could happen. I'll bet you could get a black belt before you could solve a Rubik's Cube. That's how hard the Rubik's Cube is going to be.
You have to see the videos that I saw because it doesn't look that intimidating when it's. I don't even know how to.
Does it matter what the cube looks like when you get it?
Nope. It could be all as messed up as you could think. It's the corners you do. Left, right. It's like learning a dance move. It's like learning.
If that's what it is. I could learn that. Okay.
Like you play PlayStation when you're playing guys, it's XX square. You learn cheat codes back in the day when we were younger.
Yeah.
So I think you can learn that. Talking about PAX, it's your birthday, dude. Here in 1980. Let me just show you random numbers if you want to compare 1980 to today. Average monthly rent. Want to guess?
Ooh. In 1980, $200.
Ooh, pretty close. 3.
Wow.
$300.
Wow.
$300. Could you imagine?
That's for like a 2-bedroom?
I don't. It just says average monthly rent, but cost of a gallon of gas.
Ooh, cost of a gallon of gas 1980 would have been 45 cents.
No, it's not 1940. Yeah,
okay.
$1.19.
Oh, how much is it now? $5
where you live. Yeah. $30. My Jeep, I think it was $85.
What did I say? 35 cents.
Yeah, and I quit. I remember having a joke when I first started doing comedy about how if you were pumping gas, you'd watch the gallons and the dollar because they'd almost be tied all the way.
Right.
Like, I'm so old. Average cost of a new car. What do you think that was when you were 10? So you're 10 and your parents are probably in their, what, 30s, right? Math. So your parents are young, 30-year-old somethings, and they want to get a new car.
A new car?
Yeah, new car when we were 10.
Let's say it is 35 grand.
What was your parents' first car? What's the first car you remember?
Wait, I don't know, man.
You said okay. What was the first car you remember at the Reep household? That your first.
My dad, my mom. What's popping out in my head is a Citation. My mom had a black Citation. You remember them damn things?
I haven't heard I haven't heard the word Citation. It sounds so odd.
It was like oval shaped. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, do you remember? Do your parents say, "Hey, John, run out to the car and get your dad's wallet or your mom's purse," or did they say, "Run out to the Citation"?
They just said car.
Okay. The Citation seems like that's something you would just refer to instead of saying car.
Yeah. Well, it's a ticket, isn't it? They write you a citation. It's like, oh, you were speeding. I'm going to give you a citation in your citation. Double citation. That's a dumb name for a car.
We have to look up 70s comics or 80s comics, right? There has to be an evening at the Improv guy who does
had that joke. Yeah.
100%. There has to be, right? And he's wearing jeans and an overcoat that's way too big for him.
You're not going to believe this. I just want a citation, and now I gotta get a court because I got a citation. Yeah, so stupid.
The average car, $7,200.
$7,200. What'd I say? 35,000.
35,000.
I'm like.
Oh, but wait. But here's Pontiac Firebird. Okay, right. So those weren't those little ones. Those were those big ones. That price was $5,992. Here's one. Here's a good one. Men's casual shirt when we were 10. The guys that were adults that were our age when we were Pax age. How long do you think that was? Or how much money? I'm sorry.
$10.
$14.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. So you're 10. Your dad's coming home from work, takes the citation, runs probably into the Sears Roebuck store, makes a purchase for the Reep's first VHS, brings it home, and you notice your dad's face is he just has a weird look on his face because he just spent some money. Mm-hmm. What do you think your dad spent on the VHS or VCR? And now Pax, who's 10, has no idea what we're talking about right now.
Right.
We could be talking about a steam engine. He doesn't know. But what do you think the VCR that your dad bought when you were 10 and brought it home cost?
Well, when they first came out, they were expensive. And then over time, they got more affordable, and then they were obsolete.
So this would be 1980.
1980. This is brand new. This would be a brand new VCR. I'm going to say $300, maybe $400.
Hold on. I'm gonna go to the audience right here for a quick second. I wish I don't have good game show music. I'm gonna figure that out on my end. Somebody said Charlie Chambers said $499. Mm-hmm. Dashman said $1,200.
Wow.
$1,200. Lisa says $250. Without going too far deep. Jason says $399. Okay, Sears. Okay, so the actual price 1984 VHS recorder was $699.
Wow.
Dude,
damn.
So here's where I have to apologize to my parents, because I remember being pissed that I didn't get an Atari, right? And all that stuff. And when you think about it now, when you go back to go, why didn't my parents buy a VCR? Because it was $700.
Yeah. And back then, $700 is $2,000 today.
That's a shit. Okay, what about a camera? So now you're playing baseball and your dad wants to record. What sports did you play like when you were 10?
I played football. I played baseball. I played all of them.
So you're playing baseball. So Mr. Reep wants to record you going up to play on, what was your little league team? Do you remember the name?
Oh, Kern's Bakery. They sponsored this.
So batting up next from Kern's Bakery, second baseman Jon Reep coming up to the. So your dad's recording all of that on his new VHS home movie camera. Oh yeah. So obviously it's the ones that you're putting on your shoulder.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So what do you think that cost in 1980? Brand new.
I have footage of my dad bringing home a camcorder from the store he worked at, and he didn't buy it. He just brought it home and played with it and took it back and put it back on the shelf and recorded all of us telling jokes and that kind of stuff. And this was when I was in the 7th or 8th grade, which would have been early to mid 80s. Yeah, early 80s. And I remember him saying in the video, like, be careful with this camera. Yeah. You're basically holding a small car on your shoulder because that's how expensive it was. He was saying it's the price of a car. So I will say $2,500.
$2,500 for the VHS home camera. 1980 was $1,599.
$1,599. I was off by $1,000. We have someone in the waiting room, John. We have a guest.
Okay.
We have a guest.
Sorry, I got so into the guessing the price thing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Right. Let's regroup. I'm excited about our guest. Yeah,
you take over.
So we have a very, very special guest. Somebody who. Literally, like I said, John, we met right before COVID at a comedy club. And then when the world was crapping out, me and him were going to do a podcast. I don't know what about. I don't remember the conversation. I just remember I wanted to leave Alabama and get on a plane before the COVID got me. So that was like one of my first things. And then we've kept in touch. I call him randomly if I've had a couple of libations or something with ideas, and sure. He takes my call. He doesn't dump me to voicemail. I'm very excited about this. You've seen him on Party 5. I looked at his IMDb, and here's what I hate. Do you still get mad when people just refer to you as a last comic standing guy, even though that happened in 1975, or at least for me, at least?
I get more mad if it's the Hammy guy.
Okay, so I almost don't even want to give, because I looked at his IMDb, and he's got 20 things in production or post-production.
Yep.
And then 5 things in announcements. So he's got a lot of stuff going on. So I don't want to be like a dick and go, here's the credits for MALLRATS, Party 5, 7th. Like, I don't want to do that to the guy.
Okay.
All right. But let's bring it on, because I have a lot to talk to him about. I mean, it's going to be so completely random. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Jeremy London. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I play this music for you, dude, because it's like a rock feel. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jeremy London. Coming in.
I feel like I'm in a skating rink.
I know, right?
Yes. Everybody limber now.
Dude, thanks so much. Good. Thank you so much for showing up. I know I called you last minute, because here's what happened. I got a text from Mr. Reep, and he's like, do we have any guests tonight? And then, so what happens is me and John trade off the workload of the show, right? John has a wonderful podcast that has good guests, segments. It's produced well. There's a studio. It's called Country-ish, nice. Right? So then I think Heffron and Reep is kind of a, what if it's called a project he does where you don't really care if it's successful, but you do it anyway.
It's like a side hustle.
I got it. Hey, listen, look, I couldn't say no to the money. You know, you guys were offering. So
yeah. I have not paid for your cameo to promote my dates yet.
Waiting for the check. No, man, it's great to be here with you guys, man. I'm a huge fan of both of you fellas, and
Wow.
so this is an honor for me. And we really did. We hit it off, and we really kind of met. John and I did at a place that was pretty empty because people were just already starting to bug out because of COVID, and it was so weird.
That's not COVID. That's just John Heffron.
Well, it was I don't even know what to say. It's kind of more of an urban club, and then
it was 90% of the more urban crowd.
It was an urban club, but so they had me perform at like 6 o'clock when the real show started at like 8.
Right,
and it was like an old Bennigan's that
it
closed,
felt like a cafeteria,
but then they opened it. So, but it was fun. The people who showed up, the people who own it, everybody was cool.
We were laughing our asses off. Your show was killer, no matter what.
But
people
I just
loved it. You know, my lady I was able to introduce her to your work, and she fucking was rolling. Oh,
yeah,
can we cuss? Can we?
Yeah,
we
cuss on the show. Oh, good.
I just remember there was a table that was, kind of chatty or something, which is going to happen. And I remember you putting your hands up like, what the F? What are you? And then I saw, I'm like, who's this guy putting your hands up? And then I saw it was you. And then afterwards we talked. So that's how we became friends.
It's so rude.
Yeah.
It's so rude. That's why I won't ever be. See, I'm a guitar player and singer and songwriter and all that shit. And people have asked me how come I've never wanted to have done it professionally. And it's because, I keep being in front of a bunch of people when half of them are fucking in their own conversation, not paying attention. They don't give two fucks. Like all that. I have no idea how you guys do what you do. It's a mess.
I remember
you have to have spines as thick as dinosaurs. I don't know how you do it.
I remember this was right when, if I go back in my life, if we go 2 years, like, I think I just moved out of LA and I was moving back to Michigan. I could be off a couple months, but I was going through that thing where I was like, I just moved out of LA, and Jeremy Reep did this maybe 1.5 to 2 years earlier. Yep. Right. So I asked John, I'm like, I want to move. I'm just done.
I've been out for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
It's glorious.
Wow. Yeah. Good for you.
And I remember you telling me, you're just like, dude, I moved here. I have an acting school. I do this, and my life's never been, even though I've never wanted to be, I was never an actor in LA. Like I would go read for like parts, but my biggest fear was if I actually got them. Right,
that's the easiest part.
That's funny because the very first movie that my twin brother Jason and I ever did was I basically forced him to go on the audition. He really didn't want to go, and he wound up getting the role. It's a movie called The Man in the Moon. It was Reese Witherspoon's first movie. Beautiful movie, directed by the guy that directed To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, it was just an extraordinary experience. And my brother got to the set first time ever on a movie set or anything like that, fresh out of the freaking farm, basically. And he got there and he was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. He called home and he was like, I don't think I want to do it. I was like, you're doing it, you motherfucker.
How old was he when that happened?
We were 17, I think.
Yeah.
I had to drag him to the audition in the first place. He was the only one of us that had a car. He had this blue Mustang because he lost a couple of toes in a construction accident. We were with my stepdad when we were 15. Ridiculous. We got a little bit of money and bought a little car. So he was the only one of us that had a car. And so he was going to take me to that audition for that first movie. And of course I was there. I was too serious. I was like, I was an actor. I was going to get that role. And he showed up. He's like, I don't give two shits. I want to get out of here. And whatever he did, they were like, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes I feel like casting directors can smell that on people where it's like, oh, this guy's trying too hard and this guy doesn't give a shit. Oh, let's hire the guy who doesn't give a shit, which is kind of dumb if you think about it, because this guy who's a little nervous, he's tried so hard. Maybe when you get there and you relax, the guy just relax him. Yeah,
it's desperation. Desperation reeks, and it's a turn off immediately. You know, it's like, please hire me. Let me beg for you. I'll perform for you.
Are you Jeremy? Oh, go ahead, John.
No, my internet's being weird. You asked Jeremy, and I'm gonna come right back in the room. So you asked me your question. Okay, perfect.
Jeremy. So I think John was telling me you're in Alabama.
I'm in Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wow. What part of Mississippi?
Madison, Mississippi, sort of central-ish, north of Jackson. I was on the coast for several years, and then I met a wonderful woman and have a beautiful family up here in the middle of Mississippi. Man, I got out of LA like just a little over 7 years ago, actually. Now,
what was the nail in the coffin for you about getting out of LA?
Well, it started with me with the 2008 stock market crash. I mean, I lost 600K in 2 houses in one day, man. I lost everything. I had pretty much, everything. So just talk about, all of a sudden LA just being expensive and ridiculous. And then, being married to a crazy woman and just all this stuff. Just I finally went, I need to find me again, because I just was so lost there and became so the whole too much too young thing for me really affected me psychologically. And so I went through a lot of bizarre, weird crap. And it would just, for me, I grew up in the South, man. I grew up on a cattle farm in Oklahoma, and Texas, and bounced back and forth between Oklahoma and Texas mostly. And so I just wanted to get back to the South. And I met a lady, a wonderful, my second son's mama, Juliet. She was in Mississippi at the time. We actually met in New Orleans and started our life together in New Orleans. So I lived in New Orleans for a year, which was spectacular. Yeah. And we got pregnant there. And then we actually moved to Oklahoma, back where my family is in Oklahoma, for a little bit. And then got an opportunity to start my acting school in Mississippi, of all places, in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, which is just a spectacularly beautiful place. And so I said, I'm going to do it. Let's just do it. Why not? Awesome. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so all of a sudden I wind up, and we met on Twitter. I made my ex-wife now, but who's one of my best friends and also one of my agents. She's amazing. We just are good friends. We just weren't good with each other being married or whatever. But man, Mississippi is a really amazing place, man.
I've only been a couple of times. It's one of those, I don't know many comedy clubs in Mississippi other than maybe a casino.
Where are you from, John?
I'm in North Carolina.
You're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've been in every state in the country. I've been to Mississippi here and there, but just it's not one of the.
I bet they love you here. Oh, I would bet they love you here in Mississippi.
Yeah, it's fine. there's not a lot of. Like I said, not a lot of
clubs. Venues. There's not a lot of venues. I mean, really, there's not, and they really kind of are mostly urban. I think, Jackson's. It's not the most cultured place in the world. We fix that. There are places, New Orleans is spectacular. Yeah. I saw Bill Burr there. We was hanging out with him there, and that's a cool place to do some comedy.
Well, you said Oklahoma. Well, what part of Oklahoma?
My family all lives in a little town called Tuttle, Oklahoma, which is just south of Oklahoma City. But I grew up on a cattle ranch for many years in a little town called Wanette, Oklahoma, which is out in the middle of nowhere. But we were kind of all over the place. My parents were kind of serial divorcers, so we traveled a lot. Let's say I went to a lot of schools.
Oh, I'm going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma next weekend. So
nice.
I'm going to tell you to tell your friends if you or some other divorced parents in Tulsa if they want to come see me.
I can relate to Jeremy living on a cattle ranch because this is me yesterday going out to seeing mine. This is on my.
You've changed. Are you
my property?
Are you a werecow?
Yeah, you gained some weight, John.
You look different. You look different.
All right, so I have some rando questions, and I apologize for the internet.
No, man,
I actually jumped on my wife, who's studying to be an RT, she has a private Wi-Fi thing that the school gave her, and I jumped onto that
I don't
internet
think
connection.
I'm not noticing it on my end. Are you noticing it on your end?
No, it's better now that I'm using hers. But
I think it's better. Why?
It's better.
Why are you just now getting this?
I didn't know I knew it. My computer just attached. Although I will say this, so when it jumps to her internet, I have noticed it's adult protected. So if you type stuff, you're like, why is nothing coming up that I wanted to come up? And then you look and go, oh, because it's
yeah.
Anyway, so Jeremy, random questions. Random questions before I want to ask you literally kind of what we're talking about today. When you were on Party of Five, I was thinking about, so follow me on this because my brain's all over. I used to do radio with Danny Bonaducci, who was on the Partridge Family, and I was talking to him about how popular Bonaducci was on the Partridge Family because there were one show that had kids on it on only 3 networks. So if you just do the math, he was as popular as Justin Bieber would be now, just because there wasn't as many things to watch. So if you go amount of people,
which was his curse later.
Yeah, yes,
becomes your curse. Gilligan never was not Gilligan,
right?
But you on, even if I think back to Party of Five, right? There was no streaming. It was almost like the same thing about how many people watched that show.
We were in, that era of, it was, I think Fox was relatively new. It was a Fox show, but, the Simpsons had sort of created Fox, and out of, right after, it was ABC, NBC, and CBS, of course, what we all grew up with. I mean, I'm 50 this year, so I grew up with just all of that. That's the same stuff. And so that was the issue, I think, is that because there were only those few shows to choose from, that those people became only known for those roles, and so it's sort of, that I'm sure that haunt has, it still haunts Danny Bonaducci. It never goes away. Everybody still only knows him for that. And he was a child,
Mm-hmm. I still, to this day, I did 6 commercials for Dodge trucks. And because of everything I've done after that, there's some people who just, I won Last Comic Standing. I've been in some other sitcoms and movies, but to some people, I will always just be the Hemi guy. Like, no matter where I go, Hemi guy. I'm like, well, what about this other stuff I did?
Yeah. We can't control how we stick to people's brains. It's the reason that Mallrats is more popular 25 years later than it was when we made it. Nobody even went to see it in the movie theater. And 25 years later, it's extraordinarily popular now. People, it's weird.
Yeah.
I still get to travel
Jeremy, John and I were talking right before we went live just about my obsession with all these YouTube videos of abandoned malls. Just speaking of Mallrats, like there's guys that walk around malls and they take video of these super malls that were closing, that have literally no stores in them. They're the freakiest thing ever. But I'm obsessed with them because it makes me sad about just us as humans, that we wanted all this stuff, and at the end of the day, that's a passing thing. Now nobody wants that. It's just a wasteful stuff. Reep and I both came up with an idea that at old malls, they should have retirement communities because it's self-enclosed. Every store could be about 2 apartments. Every anchor store could be 50, 60 apartments. You have a fountain, you have a food court, you have a movie theater, you could have stores like haircut places. And Reep came up with a great slogan. So by the time me and John and you, Jeremy, we're the same age, are ready to be on that phase of our life, our kids can look at us and go, Dads, since you were 15, you just wanted to live in a mall, and now here's your chance.
Yeah. Part of you would be like, okay, all right.
I think there's a lot of homeless people out there that could sure use a fucking space to live.
What did I say?
Okay.
It's pathetic that there are that many. When you think about how many dinosaur malls are just laying out there open, and there's people on the streets and living under bridges and stuff, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. It's who controls all that, and then how do you keep it from turning into Mad Max there? And people,
exactly.
becoming, you know what I mean? Because you're kind of putting all the sickos in one place, and like the people that need mental health help rather than being put on the street in the first place, and then drug addiction that is, rather than people being looked after, it's made so illegal that people have to live such seedy lives, and it all blends in. And so how do you regulate and control all that whenever you start giving these gifts and they get taken advantage of?
Mall cops. You got to have mall cops.
And then that becomes a whole other thing.
Right.
Well, I mean, then Harrison Ford comes out in his robot car, and we all, have entered into,
Right. John and I were talking about, he came up with the senior citizen, the old folks home for malls. And I said, homeless. And then 2 seconds later, we both, it'll be burnt down in 3 days.
Yeah, it would be. It would.
Yeah.
The homeless, the old folks home thing would be fantastic, because it would be much more taken care of, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it is really kind of one of those sort of, I think, sort of signs of the decline in our this sort of what the normalcy of our civilization has become, because the mall was more than just going and buying stuff. I mean, we didn't even always buy stuff,
Yeah, that's
kind of this great social gathering place for kids, and a good, healthy, safe place for people. And now even
I mean, back then you would go to the mall hoping you ran into somebody.
Absolutely right.
So you wouldn't even know. You couldn't check your phone to see.
You'd dress up for the mall.
Up. You would just
You'd come looking fly. You want to be looking at it.
Yeah.
I got my new Bugle Boys.
Gotta be all of it. Yeah. You want them to see you looking, as fashionable as the mall will allow.
Totally. I miss it. I feel like,
I know, me too.
Even the new. So when I grew up, we had one mall. And then we got this new mall, right? So, and then the old mall kind of went to shit, and then everyone went over to the new mall. And now the new mall is now the old mall. And the old mall is like a U-Haul place. And the new mall, there's like 5 stores in there, but there's no newer mall. I think what's happening is it's just these random strip malls where but I like being indoors. What was wrong with the fucking mall? The mall was great.
It just be online shopping. Everybody's lazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other day how I was watching one of these shows, and something called like Life in a Million Years or something like that. And it's theoretical or whatever. And basically it's sort of talking about how AI and all that stuff is going to take over and do everything for humans. Well, so then what kind of fat slobs are we going to become? What's going to happen? People are going to have nothing to do.
No, we'll just be on the metaverse with our goggles. We'll be on the metaverse.
Yeah. Just having fake sex with fake naked porn bots. Then people just like withering up and dying because they forget to eat.
Yeah, it's like that Michael Judge movie where God, who was the actors? 2 actors, they get into like a chamber and fall asleep, and they wake up like 100 years later, and evolution has
idiocracy.
Yeah, idiocracy. Right. That scene where God, what's his fucking name? The guy who's married to the girl.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do know who you're talking about.
Dak Shepard.
Dak Shepard. Gosh, John, this is great. We should play a game show together. Dak Shepard, like he walks in on Dak Shepard's apartment, and he's got these goggles on, and he's like eating fried chicken and watching porn. and he walked in. He's like, "Hey, you caught me baiting, man." That's what the future's going to be, Jeremy.
That's it, man. It's all self-satisfaction and immediate satisfaction and narcissism, fulfilling narcissism to the maximum. So why would anybody need to have a social life? Why would anybody need to get out and meet people when you can literally have a visceral experience with anybody you want, and then you can make them go away whenever you want them to go away. Like,
as somebody who had,
bro, we're doomed.
I had, until I busted it, I had an Oculus. I had a VR thing, and right when COVID
started playing my stepsons, it's amazing,
dude.
Oh, I gotta get one,
bro. I would watch a Netflix show. And then I'd watch my Netflix, but then I would change. You can change the apartment you live in. So I'd watch Netflix. And then if I wanted to turn my head, I could look at the city that my penthouse that I looked over the city. And then I would go to museums. There's a bar fighting game on the Oculus where you walk into a bar and it's scary because everybody looks real and you just start fighting people in the bar. So you can walk by.
Why is that not? And our kids live in this world so much.
Yeah.
And their brain is experiencing, and the synapses are firing as if they're truly experiencing it. And so why is that? And how is that not a parallel universe? How is that not truly another realm of existence within our realm of existence at the same time? Because their brain is completely experiencing everything. The heart rate speeds up. The brain is experiencing all of these things as if it's happening, fear, excitement, all of these things, and this immersive experience that is only going to get better.
Yeah. I had mine on.
I thought you were going another way with that, but it's going to get better.
More
advanced anyway.
When I had mine, I thought you don't even need anything in your apartment or your house. If you had a square concrete room with just a couch and a bed, something to sit on, you could trick it out and 100%. You don't need to have anything else. When the guy who I was going to fight looks across from the bar and he starts walking towards me, he's his, 6'5", big, huge. My heart rate jumped as if I was my brain didn't know the difference that I was playing a video game.
How's that not living in another?
I sweat like your heart rate
as valid as the one that we live in, consciously. Why is it not? It's literally as immersive as a real experience.
It's only getting. I just watched this thing where you can have a VR set, and then if we're talking in avatars, it's this big plate that shoots air. And if you were to hand me a coffee cup, I could reach out and reach for the coffee cup and I could grab it. And my hand feels like you just handed me something. The air blowing on your hand does something with the weight or does something. So whatever object you think you're getting, you think you're holding. Wow. It's and that's just now. Wait till we're 60 in a rest home.
This is going to be great.
People think an asteroid's going to take us out. It's going to be masturbation. People are going to stop breeding. Nobody's ever going to actually have sex with another human ever again. Yeah. And porn bots are going to, I'm going to start investing in those now. Yeah. Start investing in those now.
Now, dude. Because they're good now. Yeah.
It does exist already where you could put a thing on your dick and sync it up to a porn that you're watching.
Yes, right? And imagine how that's going to get better. It's already probably amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine how that's
we don't know
get.
because Dax, the 10-year-old, is maybe still watching.
Oh, that's right. Dax Shepard's who we're talking about.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Jeremy, one of the other reasons that we're... Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Heffron and Reep. Subject change.
I don't even know if anybody heard that. So I talked to Jeremy briefly today, and we just did that quick dude catch up where you can literally almost catch up with what's going on in your life in maybe about a minute. You just bullet point it.
He just said he's paying me a lot of money and to show up. So
where's this money coming from?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned. I'm like, hey, I started this cutting board business with a buddy of mine from college, and we started talking about, kind of going off, not on leaving a career, but doing random shit that had nothing to do with whatever you quote unquote were good at before. Right. So I started telling him about the bestcuttingboards.com. And he goes, dude, I have, and I know we had his acting school in Mississippi because we were talking about doing a voiceover for something. He's like, I got access to a bunch of people who can voice it for you. But then he brought up right before I hung up the phone, I go, save it. Let's talk about that on the podcast. He goes, I have a banana nut bread.
Well, it's a pepper jelly business, but I also make banana nut bread and all kinds of other baked goods and stuff like that as well. But we make pepper jelly because of COVID. We had nothing. We had my lady all of a sudden was home every day, and we had all this time on our hands, and we had this big backyard, and so we started turning our backyard into a garden, and that we became obsessed with that. And so now our garden is so big, and our backyard is like a food forest, and we didn't know what to do with the damn peppers. We had so many peppers, and so I learned about pepper jelly, and I wound up coming up with my own little formula that turned out to be like, according to even the old ladies in Mississippi, the best pepper jelly most people have ever tried. It's called London's Most Wanted. And we have our own store on Etsy at London's Most Wanted. And I became basically a granny.
That's awesome. What kind of peppers are you using?
Dude, I use all kinds, man. Depends on what kind. We've got, first of all, our cowboy pepper jelly is sweet. And so we just use, our bell peppers and some jalapenos and stuff that the seeds that have no heat. We basically try to keep that one to the sweeter peppers without any heat. But then I have the Outlaw and the Special Edition Outlaw, which is way hotter. The Outlaw's hot. The Special Edition Outlaw is extraordinarily hot. I mean, we're talking about Carolina Reapers, Ghost peppers, and all of that stuff.
I'm confused. Well, I have so many questions because starting next week, me and John are doing a segment on this show. What we call it, John? It's going to be called like Bromo Codes. We haven't figured out our name yet. So on my Facebook page, I asked everybody, what are you plugging? What's your side hustle? And I have hundreds and hundreds of people who have Etsy pages. So starting next week, we're going to have somebody on. She makes handbags out of plastic grocery store bags. So we're going to have somebody, one of people on our fan pages who has cool, a man. Thing. We're going to have them on. We're just going to ask them how they start. What are they think? But doing cutting boards is such a weird thing. Because when we sell these cutting boards, there's something magical about just selling a fucking piece of wood, right? Just as being an entertainer where your whole life is, well, what's your take? What's your thing? How are we going to turn that into a show? What's your just going, do you have $75? Give that to me. Here's a piece of wood.
Isn't it great?
And we're done. We're done.
Great?
There's something so satisfying about every order at the best cutting board.
Every time somebody orders pepper jelly, we've sold thousands of jars of this stuff now. And every time it's exciting. I mean, I make every jar by myself. My lady helps jar it, but I make it. It's my recipe. I sign every jar. We label it. We label every jar. We ship them ourselves. We do it all ourselves from our kitchen, and it's so rewarding. And people love it, man. People absolutely love it, and it's just no ego involved with that. It's love. It truly is like this, it's a different kind of art form, But I also am an artist, and when people buy my art, that's also the same thing,
Yeah,
it's a neat feeling.
For people who've never had pepper jelly, what would you put pepper jelly on? Is it like a breakfast strawberry jam that's got a little kick to it?
First of all, whenever I first heard the words pepper jelly, I was like, that sounds disgusting. Look at that.
There we go.
Nice, man. Good work. So I watched this YouTube video. I was like, I didn't know what to do with all of our extra peppers. And I watched this lady on YouTube called Callie Kim make pepper jelly. And my first thing that I noticed about it was I was like, man, that looks beautiful. It looks delicious. Peppers and sweet though. I mean, that just didn't make any sense to me, right? It didn't. So I just followed her recipe and I made some. And no shit said the first time that I ever put it in my mouth, I looked at my lady and I said, "We're making pepper jelly." Holy shit. It was the best tasting combination of flavors that I'd ever tasted. It was extraordinary. You do have to do it the right way. It's got to be with cream cheese on a cracker, and preferably I like these like little pretzel crackers or whatever, but a little cream cheese, a little jelly on there. It's unbelievable, man. It's so addictive that I ate so much in the beginning that I don't even eat it anymore because I'm sick of it, but it's still delicious. And the best, I'm telling you, the best compliments in the world are when these little old Mississippi women, little old ladies, like 90-year-old women, say that's the best pepper jelly I've ever had in my entire life, because it's a staple here in Mississippi. You screw that up, they will tell you screwed it up.
Yeah. Could you put that on a biscuit or toast?
Oh yeah, man. You can put it on pork chops. You can put it on anything that you put jelly on it. And it's got, the flavors are extraordinary because you really do taste the peppers in there, but there's so much sugar in there.
Are you mixing it with like strawberries and grapes? Is it just straight from the pepper?
All peppers packed in sugar and special flavor, flavor touches that we put into it, but it's all so basic, man.
Holy shit, I want a jar.
You gotta, dude. Find it. It's London's Most Wanted on Etsy.
Okay.
And like I just made 4 banana nut breads. Our house smells like banana nut bread right now, man. That's what COVID did for us. See, we didn't want to sit in our house and lose our damn minds and start fighting, not have a good relationship. We wanted to expand we got closer. Our yard now is it's like our little Eden out there now.
Yeah.
We've put a lot of work into it. And now it's been 3 years. This will be the 3rd year. And so things are starting to really root and really, really flourish now into the 3rd year, and so it's all the hard work's paying off, but it rains so much here that it's just like we don't even know if we never know what's gonna happen. It's always like a threat that's gonna just, even a tornado is gonna come through and wipe us out at any moment.
And I don't know if my internet's crapping out. There's something weird about when you're fulfilling an order. At least I do it with the cutting boards, because we make them at the shop and then we bring them back here to the house where I have boxes. I have stamps made. I have this twine. I wrap it. I stamp it.
It's so satisfying.
Because each one of our boards is made with 80s music, so we have different versions. So the one that's going out now has been played with a lot of Van Halen or whatever. But what I did is I have cassette tapes or 80s buttons that I just throw in with the cutting boards. It makes no sense at all.
That's great.
And we have a QR code, but I don't even know how to say this without sounding like an ass. Okay, if we look at money, maybe the 3 of us has made doing an hour's worth of work in our past lives or whatever, it's maybe just blown so out of proportion, right? I know as a comic, performing at a corporate gig, what I got paid to do an hour is right. What the amount of hours it takes me to wrap up a board like this.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
And stamp it and send it, and what I actually make on it, right? I probably at the end of the day, being all completely forthcoming, I don't know, $20,
right?
Probably,
yeah, man.
Is at the end of the day, because it's $70 in material because wood's expensive. It's $20 to ship, and we get free shipping. I probably make $20, let's say. But something about when I go to the UPS store and just drop these off, I've never I could get off performing in front of 5,000 people, walk off stage. The feeling I get when I hand the postal people these boxes that I taped up all day is bigger than performing.
I think that it has to do with the fact that we have not relented and given into allowing Hollywood to command our futures and only command our futures. That we've said, you know what, if we have to grind and do something else to help fill our kids' bellies and pay the bills, that's, to me, that's what men do anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what
right.
There's I personally started acting so young that for me, man, whenever I decided to just get the hell out of LA for a little while, I wanted to do anything besides be in the acting business. I started selling insurance in Oklahoma. I'm licensed to sell insurance in Oklahoma, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
I was terrible at it, so I don't do that anymore. But but I did. It was like stroke and heart attack insurance, man. If you did it right, you can make so much money with this great company called Platinum. But I just was terrible at it because you had to like drive up to like, you had to drive up to like farmers. It was in, dealing with farmers and stuff like that. And you had to drive up onto their property and go solicit, money for, tell them, look, if you're, the good chances you're going to probably have a heart attack. So you probably should, you're probably going to die sometimes. But, these guys would meet me on the porch with shotguns and be like, get off my property. And I'm like, I'm just here I don't care. Get off my property.
Oh my God. That's horrible.
I was like, I'm not cut out for this. I'm an artist no matter what.
So Jeremy, as I burp, I have a question about your Etsy page. If you were to create a promo code, how long does it take you to do?
I don't know. My lady's the one that handles all of that stuff, but I think that it doesn't take very long at all.
Okay, because somebody just posted, I'm reading the comments. A lot of people want to buy your thing. And we've never had anybody on the promo code before. You technically weren't even supposed to be part of the guest. If we could do a $1 promo code just to see if this works.
Absolutely. You can do
like $1 off if you type, what's we are, Reep. We haven't even discussed that.
If they say Reep and Heffron sent me, tell them to put Reep and Heffron sent me, and we will give them like 10% off their order.
All right. So
that's John.
They just contact him that way. But if you want to look at a promo code, John Heffron, I mean, just do Heffron and Reep. Just
Heffron and Reep.
The name of the show, Heffron and Reep.
Heffron and Reep. Yeah. If you guys, if anybody just puts Heffron and Reep in any kind of message as well on Etsy, we'll know what they mean. And we will
$1 off. I'm going to use it when we hang up because I want some.
So you said $1 off. I said 10%. So I think I should probably have to stick to my my offer.
All right.
10%.
Wait, I want to.
We're happy to do it.
I want to show him this real quick.
Yeah,
hey,
that's what I was going to say, John.
What you got?
I got this new hot sauce called Jon Reep's Hickory Hot Sauce. So good it'll make your head shake.
What you got? What peppers?
This right here, I'm going to start with the story of me and heat.
Nice.
I love flavor. I can't stand it when it's like a novelty heat. When people go like, this one's got 8. See, I can't do that. That will burn. It burns so much I can't taste anything for like a year. So I thought like I want a good mild, a little bit of heat, but a lot of flavor. And that's what this is. It's a medium to mild hotness, but it's a good garlicky flavor. And the guy who makes this, I didn't make it. The guy who makes it, he's an ex-fireman. He was a chef of all these firemen, and he quit the fire department because he was making this different sauce for himself and other guys. He started his own sauce business, and he came to me. He just happened to be a fan of mine, and he's like, you need your own hot sauce. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, and I will make you a hot sauce. And I told him what
that?
And it's honestly, I'm going to send you this.
Yeah.
For free. And then I will also
we'll exchange. I know what you're doing right now, Reep.
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
We should start a communal Etsy page because I tried to do one for the cutting board and it's just too much work. We should start like where you sell your hot sauce, we sell your jam, I sell the cutting, and we just, as our group of friends build, we just build one page. You can bring it up on stage, Reep, every week. I bring it up on stage every week.
Oh yeah.
We all have Joe, and we create a thing.
Okay.
And then we open up. Then there's all these malls that have empty spaces, and next thing you know, it's Reep, London, and Heffron stores going up in all these anchor things.
Holy
shit. See how we swing it all back around?
Yeah, my lady to the rescue. She says, I can create a coupon on Etsy and you can provide to them if they put that promo code at checkout, they will get that percentage off. So she can do it.
So can we put Alan, can we put up that website? I just went. Now it's going to be
London's Most Wanted.
Now we're at like QVC. We got 10 left. We got 10 left. These are
the pro. Okay, hold on. She wants to know the promo code, so it is. We're gonna go with
Heffron and Reep.
Heffron and Reep.
Yeah, Heffron and Reep. And what was the actual name of the website? You said London something.
London's Most Wanted. London's Most Wanted.com. London's Most Wanted.
At Etsy. I see. Etsy.com / London's Most Wanted for the people who
and then the promo code is what?
Later. Heffron and Reep.
There it is.
There we go.
Hey,
let's go to Etsy.
Look at that. Okay. And yeah, some of my silly art and stuff like that's on there.
There we go.
This
first promo code.
This is just one, I love that, guys. This is so killer. And this is what we're talking. This is why, I think that we all have to support each other in all of these other endeavors as well, because of the fact that for too long, casting directors and studios have controlled our existence, and people get caught in that loop of this sort of narcissistic loop where they think that I don't know if they think that they've earned their way to not ever have to, like, this big step backwards or something like that, and that they shouldn't have to do that. And I love my brother, my twin brother. I love him, but he's never started a
right.
I have an acting school. I've got all of these other side hustles, all this other stuff that I do. And I do remember my brother just saying one time, I don't feel like I should have to do that stuff. I'm like, first of all, I love doing it.
Yeah, it's rewarding.
It is very rewarding. But secondly, this world doesn't owe me anything.
Correct.
It doesn't owe any of us anything.
Nobody. Correct.
And so, we are all lottery winners in so many ways to have even gotten a chance to ever even be a part of this sort of bizarre industry that is so selective and judgmental and harsh and brutal and hard to pierce. And we've all been able to dip our toes in this sort of water of sort of, kind of success for whatever that's worth. But it's not, I never really wanted it to define who I am, And so being able to prove to myself that I can do other things. My acting school has been quite successful. Teaching and watching people grow and watching people who have never been on a movie set all of a sudden, and they're not good, become good, and then wind up in movies is the most success. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Jeremy, I want to hear more about the acting school. Is there a website for that as well?
There's not really. There's not really. I wish there was. The best thing is to just find me on Twitter or on Facebook. Now we do have a London Arts acting school page on Facebook. I hate Facebook, so I just don't use that much. Okay. But you can find me at Sir Jeremy London on Twitter, and but most of my classes we do sort of I was doing them all mostly in person until COVID hit, and so now they've become
that's what I was going to ask.
Mostly virtual.
Okay, so it's a virtual thing.
I'll post, whenever I'm doing them, I'll post on Twitter or wherever, and so that you don't really have to go to a website, you know what I mean? Whenever I'm doing them, I'll post them, and so anybody that wants to join can join.
Okay.
At that point.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a physical place people show up to.
It was for a while. It was before COVID, but it was more because I was traveling around, so it was never one place. I was in 5 states. I was in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee. And I would drive to all of these classes. It was crazy.
Wow. There's his Twitter right there at Sir Jeremy London.
Yes, sir.
So again, I don't know how crappy my internet's being, but listen, Reep.
Yeah.
Me and you have had 2, I think, good, legit ideas for vehicles to start our motion picture business. Right?
Takeover. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we have we've been talking about our buddy comedy and buddy flicks. We have two. I've talked to Jeremy about one of them, and he loved it, dude. So I remember calling him one night going, I'm not fucking around with this idea. I think it's good enough where I can make it happen, but I just don't know what the very next step is. Mm-hmm. And he listened to the idea. I think I even sent him the script, or a script that was 8 years old at that point. He's like, dude, this is totally doable. So then I got all intimidated, right? So
which one did you?
So we have two. So that one was about people, a gentleman going back to his third grade teacher. His third grade teacher took a toy from him and said, you can have it back at the end of the year. Teacher never gave it back. Kid went to find that third grade teacher going, where's my shit? Right. So that was the first one. But the scary movie, Jeremy, did I tell you about our scary movie?
I don't think so.
Me and Reep on a podcast flushed this whole thing out. And I'm going to share it. And then we can talk about when me and Reep are coming down to Mississippi to start shooting it. Okay.
Nice.
This one, remember this one, John? What our scary movie was? I don't think you probably don't.
Well, start talking.
It's a sleep study.
Yes. It's sleep study.
It's 8 people that go in because they all have sleep apnea, and they go in for their sleep study. They just got to go to this building and they get plugged in, and
already
they're just going to figure out if they have sleep apnea. And the second they all get plugged in,
that sounds like hell.
Yeah. So they all get plugged
cut
in
up by the saw monster,
and then everything horrible happens to them. Why
they deserve it. They deserve
it. Why they're snoring. And you see the family pull up, and the wife goes, well, this is the last night I got to hear you snoring. Yeah, see you tomorrow. And they all go in. We get a little bit of backstory for each thing, and they go in, and then it's mayhem.
And while they're getting murdered, their spouses are sleeping so peacefully for the first time.
They don't even see the text of knowing their husband got killed. Yeah, they're just like, oh my God, I slept so good.
I'll get to it later. I'm sleeping so good.
Well, we gotta look up that episode because did we cover the part like what happens when they're asleep, like in their dreams? Do we go in the dream world, or do we just stay with the study? Do things happen? I forgot what we went to. Yeah.
Hey, let's just say real quick, guys. The promo code is Heffron and Reep, all one word, 10 at the end. So Heffron and Reep, all capital. Heffron and Reep. No, it's it's A and D. Right. Heffron and Reep, 10 at the end, all connected. That's your promo code.
Boom. Easy peasy.
Our very first promo. Please, everybody listening.
Promo code.
Just get it. Just so we can have some, because this is going to lead. Next thing you know, we're doing Sleep Number mattresses. We're doing GoDaddy.
My pillow, my
pillow, because Mike Pillow can't do his own commercials anymore. So
yeah, so come on. So by you buying this, going to London's Etsy page and doing our promo code, it's going to help me and Reep get more sponsors. So do the right thing.
John, real quick. Also, Jeremy, episode 83 of Heffron and Reep is titled "Sleep Study Slasher." That's the one we talked about it, John. So we go back and listen to that one because I kind of forgot. I remember it being very good when we were talking about it, but then it was so long ago. I need to go back here and look at it. It says here. Could a slasher movie be made set during a sleep study? Lots of whistling, humming, and grandma singing. Lucid dreams and period parties are discussed, along with more 80s, 90s trivia. So, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Sounds
I think
scary.
He likes our third grade adult toys, the kids. I think that's our play.
I love them. I think.
What do we got to do? How do we get investors now? What's our thing? When I hang up with you, who do I call? That will just give
start just blowing a lot of people. Just
how much does it cost if me and Reep were gonna do
$50
a movie?
No
how much would it cost to do a B? I don't even know what level. Like, so Reep was in this movie called Poker Run.
Oh,
right.
Why are you doing this?
Hey, man, we've all been there, buddy. We've all been there. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
I want to ask.
We all just got to work.
I would just like, so a movie, I'm just trying to think of John's last movie, but a movie that, what does a movie cost to make? If we want to do
it depends on what you have access to begin with. It also depends on if you are putting name actors in your project. But
let's say John Heffron, Jon Reep, Jeremy London. That's all I got so far.
Right? Yeah. It depends on your understanding of sort of the fact that post production as a whole other animal. Post production's expensive as hell, and getting a movie to the point of being ready to be sold is a nightmare. And so it can be done, and especially with modern technology, it can be done a lot easier because most stuff's digital. But it really kind of comes in the best way to save money is to find people that have the equipment and all of that stuff already. Somebody that can kind of be people that can kind of do it all in house, without having to have big, huge crews. And then, it's got to be kind of a team effort.
Yeah.
People that want to do something fun together and collaborate with an understanding that they're not really,
they're not going to make
making money, but it's a fun experience, because the truth is that, there are these kind of old producer tricks that, that people continue to try to pull over even on me. And I've had it happen so many times that I tell people to shove it up their ass immediately, is that they're like, I'll give you points on the back end kind of thing. We'll come work for us for free and we'll pay you later. It's like, don't insult me. Just feed me well, and let's have a fun experience. But don't fucking tell me you're going to pay me later when there's no way you're going to pay me later. Nobody's ever been paid off of back end points in the history of back end points.
And then I mean that's gambling that the thing will be well, even
exactly right.
Yeah,
you don't know what that director's capable of. How many movies I've been in that I thought were going to be good because I read them and I thought this script is really good, and then the director that directed it, and it was shit because they can't direct.
Yeah,
and that's what it comes down to. You have no idea what their vision is or lack of.
It's that one right there.
Been there, buddy.
It was a lot of money in that movie, a lot of money, and I remember doing scenes and then talking to the other actors like, "Do you guys? Is he telling you to do? Is he giving you any direction at all?" They're like, "No."
Isn't that the weirdest?
We're just doing it, and he's not correcting us, and we're doing it one or two takes, and he moves on.
I don't understand that at all. I don't get it at all. But often projects that we think are going to be good are just decimated because the director just doesn't really care or have a vision, or they're so narcissistic and egotistical that they think that anything that they spew out is going to be genius. And that's rarely the truth. And that's one of the reasons I actually started directing, because I also, on top of acting and having my acting school and having the pepper jelly business and all of this other stuff and selling my art and all of that kind of stuff, I also am a part of a company here in Mississippi, and we do make movies. We just finished making a movie called Interfere, which is hilarious. It's sort of sci-fi comedy, and we're getting ready to. I'm writing a 6-part miniseries that's very Twilight Zone-ish called Reroute, where that I want to try to pull you boys in on somehow, get you guys involved in there.
Done. Me and Reep, we want to be two guys that work somewhere, and then like some guy comes in and like monster and like eats us both. Like we're two guys. We'll be two mechanics.
You just totally rewrote our
kind
show
of like crap
for you, Heffron. I'll rewrite the entire show for you.
Yeah, we want to be two like.
Wait, John, this is how you do it. Yes, sir. Whenever you're ready, sir.
No, man. It's so Twilight Zone. It could be anything, and that's kind of fun. That's kind of a fun.
Perfect.
That's been pretty cool. But like I do, I get paid to write scripts. I've been paid to write, I think, 7 or 8 scripts, and so I don't just sit around and wait for Hollywood to make decisions on my life. I have children, and now I have a grandchild. I'm a grandfather now.
Yeah,
step grandfather, but I'm still a grandfather. That baby is my grandbaby, and there's no way I would be satisfied sitting around and waiting for a bunch of douchebag knuckleheads in Hollywood to make the decisions whether or not I was going to get to be able to pay my electric bill or not. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just, you know, and I'm always in motion. I've always got to be moving forward no matter what. And I couldn't imagine sort of just sitting around and stewing in my lack of success.
So, Jeremy, since you are a grandfather, I also am a grandfather, and I've been killing it in the grandpa FaceTime type stuff. I have
that's great.
I have Winnie this isn't Winnie the Pooh, that's downstairs, but why bother? I'm looking for, so I've been practicing Winnie the Pooh. And that would be so good in my tummy.
That's nice.
So I read my
really
granddaughter, who is 2 in Reep. This is from a couple weeks ago. The 3 Little Pigs. I highly recommend you getting this and reading it, because this version that I read to a 2-year-old, the wolf, and dude, I'm killing it with the wolf voice, because here's what I'm learning. If you're a grandpa and you're a step grandpa, there's maybe 3 other grandpas. So you're auditioning for the best grandpa. So when you're reading a book, it's like, you know, you got the park on the lot and you're reading for the network execs. You know, it's just not a cold call.
It's so true.
So I practice this. So right here, I practice. I'm like, little pig, let me in. Not by the chair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And I get deep like that, and she gets scared. I'm like, I'm killing it. By the way, in the wolf eats the first 2 pigs, kills them, eats them dead.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll keep the kids up at night. Oh, hey, you know, guys, speaking of side hustles, dude, I write kids books. I've actually got one published. I wrote a kid's book called The Little White Mouse in the President's House. And I also have another one that I'm in the process of making called What Just Jumped Out of My Face. It's about hiccups. It's so cool.
It's a subject that's not touched.
I love that. What just jumped out of my face?
Yes,
it's a hiccup.
It's the coolest.
You just made me and John Heffron laugh out loud,
dude. You guys, I could play it for you real quick if you wanted to even hear it. It's the coolest thing. It's so cute, man. And my illustrators doing the art. But yeah, the first one I did, A Little White Mouse in the President's House, you can get on Amazon. And while the former guy was in office, they were having a press conference in the White House. And and it was the first time that I saw reporters from both sides of the aisle kind of have a joint experience and sort of collaborate. And as whenever that mouse fell out of the sky, out of the ceiling in the White House and landed in a reporter I don't know if you guys remember that.
No, that happened. That's hilarious.
A mouse fell out of the ceiling during a press conference into a reporter's lap, and all of them shit their pants at the same simultaneously. You know, you had, you know, red reporters and blue reporters just mouse freaking losing their mind. And so I wrote a fun little kids book called Little White Mouse in the President's House, sort of loosely based on, hey, look at that.
There it is.
There it is. Yes, and hopefully what just jumped out of my face is it's also on Etsy, I guess, with an option for autograph. My lady just said. So
that's great.
I wish I had the script, because Jeremy, we're so like, I also have been working on a kid's book, but it's short. It's only 2 pages. Me and John, we've been working on the John read part of it. I think once it's ready, you can read a part. I just got to figure out the female voice, because I can't read as if I'm a little girl.
Can I give you some advice, dude, already?
It's called Blueberry Pancakes.
You might want to make it more than 2 pages. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, it's gonna be like a 2-minute video, because she's 2. So I'm really gonna sell the video. It's about a little girl who's trying to find out who makes blueberry pancakes.
Fun, man. That's great.
And she goes around, she asks everybody, right? I'm gonna give you the first line. Here's the first line. It's little baby Jane is so adorable and kind, but right now she has one important question in her mind, and she asked everybody for blueberry pancakes. She asked the neighbor, she asked the mom, she asked her sister, she asked her brother, and at the very end, I'll give everybody a thing. She gets pissed, and the mom's like, "Why do you keep asking everybody if they can make blueberry pancakes?" And the little girl just screams, because she doesn't say this in the book, but the adult version is, she goes, "Because I want fucking blueberry pancakes. Why is nobody getting this?" That's why she keeps asking
like,
everybody.
What's so fucking complicated about this?
She just goes, "Because I want blueberry pancakes." Yeah. So, yeah. So
pretty straightforward.
Out for you. I want some fucking pancakes.
Yeah. So there you go. Oh, dude, we have so many fun projects we're all going to work on.
Yeah. The kids.
All right, John. My internet sucks so bad. So, do we want to say our goodbyes, Mr. Reep?
Sure. Oh my God, Jeremy, it was such a pleasure meeting you and talking to you, man.
It was fun as hell.
I cannot wait to get that pepper jelly, brother. I'm going to do that ASAP. Using my promo code.
I highly recommend the special edition Outlaw if you like hot. Otherwise, the Outlaw is hot, but it's not too hot. It's really it's not that bad at all. But it's hot enough just to know that, because we use like habaneros and stuff with that, but it's just not the way that I mix everything. It just is I don't involve as many of the hot peppers in that one. But the special edition Outlaw is, Carolina Reapers, and
that's me. I'm the Carolina Reaper. That's I have to get both of them.
Got to do it.
Yeah, and also check out heffronandreep.com. Everybody, we got tour dates, my tour dates, John Heffron's tour dates. You can be a Patreon supporter of this show, and as always, rate, review, subscribe, and share. We're Apple Podcasts, wherever you get a podcast. And John, anything else you want to say?
Good. Go to heffronandreep.com to see all the dates. Columbus, Phoenix, a bunch of stuff coming up. I also put in a coupon code. If you go to thebestcuttingboards.com and put in Heffron and Reep, 10% off. I don't even know what dollar value that is, but I did it because Jeremy was the first to do it. I'm like, I'm going to follow suit.
Do it, man. Do it.
Let's see what happens.
If you need help with anything like that,
I'm going to ask you. We're going to have a gentleman's conversation about starting an Etsy page.
She's a genius with this stuff, and we're happy to help, man. We always want to support fellow actors and entertainers and people just that have the balls to do anything else,
Right.
You're my people. Those are my people, you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
don't ever let anybody else decide your future, and that's what Hollywood wants to do. I let it do that to me for too many years, and it changed me, and it made me a different person, and it made me a person I didn't like, and it made me a person I didn't even identify with, or and getting back to the South and getting back to getting my hands dirty. And I've got a good Southern woman who could give two shits about any of the projects I've ever done. She doesn't know actors' names and could care less. Right. She doesn't care about anything I've ever done in that sense, except for that she just cares about me, and
there you go. Yeah.
That's good for me. It's good for the soul. It's good for your
head.
And
and listen, if you're watching and listening to this and you want to give a big F you to Hollywood as well, go get you some pepper jelly.
Do it.
Get you a damn cutting board. Buy anything from heffronandreep.com and get a shirt. And I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. For Jeremy London, for John Heffron, I am Jon Reep. You've been watching in Heffron and Reep. I bid you a boss pickle.
Nice.
Oh, we did.
That was fun. That was fun.